y'all? This is Neena Perez, and this is Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. And I am here chilling on Winject. I think this is my 60th episode or something. It's crazy. So I hope that you guys are joining me. I'm going to make sure to be looking on the side here. So if you see my eyes looking up and over, I'm looking at the comments and I'm looking at my notes a little bit and all that stuff. So just as long as don't think I'm not like paying attention. I'm just looking at all kinds of stuff. I'm pushing my own buttons today. I've been left to my own devices. You never know what can happen when I'm left to my own devices. So I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. Make sure you go on to winject.com/groups/Neena Perez, because I want to make sure that you join my community. I have been looking in there. I've been trying to check out like how to like really start brainstorming on building my community back there so I can hang out with everyone who wants to hang out with me on the podcast. I want to thank you guys for doing that. I want to also thank all of the amazing women that I've had in my group coaching. It has been phenomenal for NeenaPerez.com. If you want to go check that out, it's called Master Your Game. And we're working on our goals, our awareness, our mind flow, and our emotional intelligence. And it has been transformative because we are looking into deeper things in our lives and we are really, really connecting with what that means. So what's up? There is Kendra. Hello. It's been so long. Oh, how are you? I'm so glad you're catching me live now. I'm here every Monday. So thank you so much for hanging out, Kendra. I appreciate that. So, I am live right now. So just go ahead and make me some comments like my girl Kendra just did. And I just wanted to really tell you guys to connect with me in that way. So it's winject.com/groups/Neena Perez, and you can be a part of my free podcasting community. And if you want to know more about my coaching program, which is going phenomenally well, I think I have like 15, 20 women in my group right now. It is going so powerfully, and I'm helping women really overcome shame, transcend unwanted behaviors, and then they're creating the business life, online, whatever they're trying to create. And so we're co-creating that together after we deal with all of the emotional stuff that's stopping them from actually becoming the people they want to be. So I am stoked. It is going phenomenally well. So I wanted to come on here today to talk to you about things that I've been talking to my group about, but also that I have been going through, right? So we're going to talk about something that is triggering, which is emotional triggers. Emotional triggers. What's that, Kendra? Yes, I remember, but work has been hella crazy. I know. Work has been kind of crazy for all of us, Kendra. And one thing that I'm noticing, being out there now and like looking around and seeing what's going on out there, like they have like 22 paragraphs for like one job position. I'm like, okay, well, this job position is for like 6 people and they're asking one person to do it. So it is crazy out there, Kendra. So I can imagine that work has been hella cray because that's how it's been everywhere. And I think that's why these women have been connecting with me to build like their businesses, right? Like to really transcend those behaviors that they have where they don't think they're good enough, or they have imposter syndrome, or they're dealing with some deeper shame issues and things we have to deal with because they want to like have their own thing, right? Like there a lot of them are leaders too. They just want to be better leaders, which is pretty phenomenal that people think about their career that way, that they want to be better leaders. I know I'm one of those as well. But also I'm also an entrepreneur. I have my own, coaching business. I have a kids cooking business. Like I have a lot of things going on. But the truth is we have a lot of things that trigger us. And these jobs nowadays are just asking for the sun, the moon, and the stars. And I was like really thrown back by that. I was like, wow, this job position is like literally 5 positions in one. And that's why everybody's feeling this burnout thing, right? And so I thought it was really important to come out with this topic today, which is about your emotional triggers, right? Because many of us are being triggered in different ways. And a lot of things are happening because we're being challenged in our beliefs, in our values, in our sense of self. Like all those things are triggering us, and it's triggering and it's coming out in different ways, right? Because when you're triggered, it comes out in different emotional states. So you'll feel anger, you'll feel fear, you'll feel sadness, you'll feel anxiety, you'll feel shame. You'll feel all of these things that are triggering. And it comes from, to Kendra's point, stuff being hella crazy, right? Especially with like work and stuff, but also with like relationships. The political divide right now amongst people is disgusting, and it's making people full of these triggers. Like, you can't even have a conversation with people, they immediately trigger, and they don't it's just like a trigger all of a sudden because you said a different word, or you said you have a different belief system. And that is really, like, to me, fascinating, that we can be programmed to be triggered. We can be programmed to be triggered because when you listen to something too much, you start to believe it, even if it's not true. And I mean, that's the whole, that's the whole case with, brainwashing and all of that kind of stuff, right? So, but when you're triggered and you start to go through these feelings, you feel like you're under attack, right? Your body is reacting with this fight or flight kind of feel because you're being triggered, right? And so your heart rate starts to increase, your breathing starts to become shallow, you start to feel like this sense of tension and tightness in your body, and you're feeling it in your body, but you don't even know what you're feeling. You're just really triggered right now. And that is happening a lot, to a lot of us. And sometimes we don't even know why, right? So, for example, I was in a meeting. It was a business meeting with these other women, and I think she was. I wasn't a part of this company, but I was in the meeting, and then this woman questioned the validity of the ideas that were coming out. And instead of them like, oh, that's, what, let's think about that idea. When I do like group settings with like leaders, I always talk about, okay, that's a great idea, and let's see what the and is, right? Whatever the next idea is, so you can formulate something amazing, right? But what happens is when you are being triggered, you immediately go into a sense of anger and defensiveness, and you start to like really lash out on the person who is just asking a question, just literally just asking a question. They're just questioning what your idea is, and you feel like it's questioning the validity and the truth of your idea, when really they're just trying to understand a deeper understanding of what it is you're bringing out there. And because we get triggered, we immediately go into the defense and the anger portion of it, right? And so that is a true example of how, even in a business meeting or leadership meeting, how you can be triggered when somebody's asking you just a simple question, and you start to like feel a physical reaction to this thing. And that's happening a lot in many different arenas. It's not just business. You could be talking to a family member, they have a different belief system politically or whatever it is, and you are being triggered. That is an issue. When we are being triggered, we have to figure out why that is. Why is it that somebody can't have a different idea, a different vision, a different thought process without us being emotionally triggered, or something happening within us that is making us angry or fearful or shameful or any of those things? And we have to ask ourselves, what's going on here? Like, we have to pause, because if we're being triggered, there's a reason for that. And it could be deep seated, it could be much deeper rooted than just this particular scenario. It could be something that happened to you when you were a child. It could be happened to you, that something was traumatic that happened to you, and you automatically made that a triggering point for yourself, right? Good morning, babes. So I wanted to talk about emotional triggers because your girl has been definitely going through some emotional triggers, and becoming aware of my triggers, or becoming aware of this happening to me, is going to help me manage my emotional response to what I'm doing. It's going to help me manage what I'm doing in my life, what I'm doing in my business, what I'm doing with my thoughts and my ideas of what I want to do. And when I am aware of my triggers, now I can begin to recognize, wait a second, why is this triggering me? Why do I feel this way? Why am I, like feeling like a fight or flight thing going on right now, right? And I realized, like, I have big things going on in my life right now. I'm really making some pretty hefty decisions, right? Decisions like moving to another state, decisions like starting to work remote, or changing my career, or like all of these things are coming up now, and I feel it in my chest. Usually the triggering, like I feel it, the anxiety sits in my chest. It is heavy. It sits there. It's almost like, so like a toddler just sitting on your chest, and you can breathe, but barely, like that kind of feeling. And I had to start to ask myself, what the F is going on? Why am I being triggered? And even like when it comes to things like my health, this was so powerful, right? I was talking to my coach. Shout out to you, Karina. You are amazing. I was working with her, and she was helping me through discovering what is going on here. Why am I being triggered and upset and shamed when it comes to my weight, when it comes to my health, like all of that stuff? It was so powerful, guys. Okay, so I'm going to be completely transparent and share some stuff with y'all. So I was sitting in this session with my coach, and we were talking about, okay, tell me about the last time. And it's a process, right? She goes through this whole amazing process of helping you identify these things. And it was a time when my ex, the one who almost killed me in a domestic violence, he at one time came to my friend's house, and I came outside. I had just broken up with him, and one of the breakups anyway, and he punched me in the center of my chest so hard that literally my breath, left my body. I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to die. And that was a real feeling. Like I literally thought I was going to die. I've never, ever felt that feeling before in my life. He literally knocked the air out of my body, out of my lungs. It was really, really bad. And I remember falling to the ground and thinking, I'm dying. I'm worthless. Nobody cares. Nobody's going to care about me. Nobody's going to do anything about this. That's how I felt. I remember my friend standing a little ways from me, because I had fell into the door after he punched me, because he had punched me out on the little deck area, and I fell into the door, and she didn't know what to do. She just stood there and stared at me. She had no idea what to do. And I remember just looking up at her and trying to say help, but I could bear. I mean, when I tell you I had no air, I had no air. And I slowly like started rubbing my stomach to try to get some air because I thought I was going to die. And after that incident happened, he apologized to me, and I went back. And I realized, going through this scenario with my coach, that the reason that I struggle so much with my health and my weight is because he used to always call me fat and ugly and stupid and blah, 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 blah. And he hit me that day and was telling me how stupid and fat and ugly and whatever I was. And believe me, I wasn't fat at that time. Now I'm overweight. I wasn't overweight then. But I realized that I took that moment, and I was living that moment subconsciously every time I tried to better myself, because I went back to him. I realized that my fear with overcoming this issue of when it comes to weight and exercise and being healthy is that I'm always fearful I'm going to fail. I'm always fearful I'm going to fail. And I always think I'm going to fail because I went back to him so many times. I'm going to go back to being I'm gonna do well, and then I'm gonna fall back. I'm gonna do well done, and I'm not worth anything, and I'm not, pretty enough, and I'm fat, and I'm stupid, and all of those things that I actually took in as my identity and my, yep, I guess you are. I guess you're stupid. I guess you're dumb. Like, you keep going back. You keep failing. You keep failing. You keep failing from that moment. And I realized that I have to change that scenario and what it means to me, and I did, right? So the last few months, as I've been thinking of moving and doing something different in our lives, and like really putting my family first, and thinking about my career moves and all that kind of stuff, I'm being triggered into, am I good enough? Can I do it? Am I worth it? Will I fail? Will I not fail? Will I go back? Things like that. And truth be told, is I am freaking worth it, right? But I had to sit back, look at my emotional triggers, look at what was happening to me, and realize that I need to overcome these triggers that are killing me and are probably killing you. Because when you keep allowing these triggers to come into your life, they are stopping you from being the human that you are created to be. And when we have these triggers in our lives, and I have quite a few triggers that I am going through, especially with the moving situation, right? So because we're moving at a time where the recession is bubbling up, what happened to me in 2008 when the recession came is we lost our home that we were purchasing. We lost our cars. I had to disperse my children to different places, and we were homeless. And we slept in our friends' living rooms. We slept in our cars. We slept wherever we could. And I'm being triggered again because now we're moving again at a volatile time. And my heart is racing and my hands are sweating and I'm feeling the triggers coming on, right? And you have to do something about it. Don't just sit and just ignore that you're going through these, and don't think that you have to go through these every time. And so the last few weeks have been very instrumental to this message I'm giving you today. There are ways to overcome triggers so that you can overcome these obstacles in your life and start to move forward in what you need to do. Because the truth is you're created for more. I'm sorry to say that if you don't believe it, but you're created for more. And if you are in a place where you are unhappy, where you are stuck, where you can't move forward, where you can't see yourself better than what you are, you have some triggers, you have some things and emotional things you have to get through in your life, because you are here for a purpose and a plan. If you woke up today, I'm sorry, there is a purpose and a plan for you. And it might not be having to go out and build a 7-figure business, because not everybody has to do that. I am talking about, what is your purpose? What are you here for? What is holding you back? Right? And so I wanted to talk to you about ways that you can overcome this stuff so that you can start to transcend your emotional stuff that is holding you back, so that you can be the person that you are created to be. And I don't know whether you believe in God or not. I do. I don't think I was just blown out of the air, out of osmosis, and created to be the powerful house that I am today out of the blue. I don't think that. And I think that everything we go through in life is to use to really impact the lives of others. Now, all of the emotional triggers that I have been through in my life, all of the trauma that I have been through in my life, and all of the obstacles that I have had to overcome in my life is so that I can serve others. And I'm hoping that as I'm sitting here today talking to you, that I am serving you. Right? And when I talk to the women in my coaching program, I am serving them. And when they leave and go, holy cow, man, I didn't even realize I was going through that. Thank you so much. And they changed their life. Boom. Used my life and my triggers and things that I've had in my life to impact the lives of others. Now, you can sit there and do nothing with your life, or you can sit there and take what has happened to you, flip it on its head, and use it to do something powerful in your life, right? And so I want to make sure that I give you at least a few practical tools that I've tried to use these last couple of weeks while I've been having these horrible emotional triggers of thinking I'm not good enough, I'm not going to make it, I can't make enough money, right? And that's the problem. When you start to see only yourself through you and your triggers, and not what you were created to be, and not what God has made you for, and not what you can do to impact the lives of others, this is where you stay stuck. And I want you unstuck, and I want you moving forward. So I'm going to talk to you real quick about getting over some emotional triggers so that you don't have to deal with that nonsense anymore. And when you do, you'll know how to get out of it, right? Hey, Lauren, preach. That's right. I'm sorry. When I get into this, I get so passionate about what I'm doing. I get passionate about saving somebody's life. I get passionate about really connecting with you in a powerful way. That's just me. That's who I am. I'm super energized. That's who I am. Not everybody can take me, but the ones who can know I'm real, right? All right. So the first thing I want you to do when you start to feel that trigger come up, when you start to feel an emotional trigger, whatever that is, fear, anger, anxiety, shame, whatever that is, I want you to practice being mindful. Practice being mindful. This is powerful. Okay. This is going to be like one of the most powerful tools you're going to use to manage your triggers. Okay. You're going to learn to be present to yourself and what's going on right now. And you're going to observe your thoughts. Why am I feeling this way? What's going on here? Why is this fear coming up? And don't judge it. Don't say, oh, because I'm stupid, because I'm dumb, because I can't. But don't do that. Okay. Don't do that. Don't do that. We've had enough of that in our lives. We don't need to do that to ourselves. Okay. I want you to gain control over it. What is that? Why is that here? Oh, fear is here. Okay. It's trying to show me something. What you trying to show me, fear? What's up? You know what I'm saying? What's going on? What am I supposed to be afraid of? All that? Well, actually, I can navigate that. I'm good. Right? Because believe it or not, these things come up to help you. They think they are helping you. These emotional triggers are there because they're saying, emergency. We have to help her out or help him out. Right? But you have to be conscious about your subconscious and make sure that you are connecting the two so that the subconscious doesn't take over and then you can't figure out why you can't get through things. So practice being mindful, be present with your feelings, and don't judge yourself, okay? Because we do that way too much. Oh, that's so stupid. Why am I thinking that's so dumb? No, it's not. If you're feeling something, it is not stupid. It is not dumb. Stop judging it and just feel it, okay? I want you to also, number 2, identify your triggers with self-awareness. Identify that specific situation that you're going through, that the people that are in that situation, the circumstances that are triggering you and your emotional response. Okay. So you're going to be aware of what is actually happening, not just the feeling, but the situation, the people, the circumstances, everything. Okay. Self-awareness is going to be key for you to manage those emotions and to understand what is causing you to react. So you're going to be present with your emotion. Hello, I'm feeling afraid, but you're also going to think about the why, the people, the circumstance, all of that kind of stuff, because that's what's going to help you understand what this issue is that's underlying what is happening here, right? This may mean that you're going to have to explore some deeper issues like why am I afraid? Well, I told you guys, I don't like instability because I lost my home in 2008. I lost everything. We were homeless. Okay. So it was scary. But that's not only the only time. I also, as a child, was my mother's, my grandmother's, my grandmother's, my mother's, my mother's, my grandmother's, my grandma. I never had stability. And so that fear triggers me when I don't feel like, unstable, gotta move. I don't like this. Right. And when that happens, I have to go deeper and understand, why am I being triggered here? Oh, I see. I don't like instability. But is instability when you're moving a bad thing? No, it's part of the process. But by observing your emotional reactions, then you can really get down to what's causing these reactions for you. And then you get a deeper understanding of yourself and you get a deeper understanding of your triggers, because there's too many freaking triggers out there right now. There's just too many. Right? If somebody says I'm a Republican, oh my gosh, you're not a Republican. If somebody says I'm a Democrat, oh goodness, you're a Democrat. It's ridiculous. And we start getting triggered and fighting each other. We don't even know why. Obviously, there's something deeper going on than your stupid political beliefs, right? There's something deeper, and you have to find out what that is, okay? And you have to learn to then release that tension, because you have to sit in that trigger. So this is number 3, release your emotional tension. Sitting in your trigger, feeling this emotional tension that you have, this emotional trigger that's going on. And when you allow yourself to fully sit in it, and let me tell you, it is uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable. I have been in so much fear the last couple of weeks with everything I've been thinking about with moving and do I keep my job? Do I leave my job? Going through all of those emotional things, which is really hard for me. Okay. And when you allow yourself to fully experience and have that emotion and express that emotion, you can start to now release the energy that is attached to that negative energy that keeps holding you back. Because once you transcend that feeling, what's going to hold you back? You don't have the trigger anymore. Okay. This is going to lead to such a great sense of peace. At least it has for me and those who I work with. It gives you a sense of peace and it gives you balance. You're not so afraid anymore. You're not being triggered over every stupid thing that comes your way. Right. But it's important that when you're sitting with these feelings, that you should feel safe, that you should feel like you're in a place that you're controlled, because some triggered feelings can be deep. Right? They can be really, really deep. I know for me, being a person who almost was killed in domestic violence. When I used to get triggered and nobody was around, I felt very unsafe and out of control, as if somebody was going to come get me, things like that, right? So when you're struggling with that intense emotion of trauma, if you can't sit in that by yourself, or you have a coach, or you have a therapist or something, that's what I highly recommend, is some kind of coach or mental health professional or something, if the trauma is too deep for you. Okay. But you should feel the trigger. You should feel it. I just feel like if you don't feel safe, make sure you find somewhere you can be safe. Okay. Number 4, take responsibilities for your emotions. Oops, she said it. Responsibility. Yucky, right? Take responsibility. Recognize that your emotions are your own, right? You have the power to control whether or not you are having these emotions. Yes, they can come up, but you are the one that has to accept the responsibility to manage this emotion. You can't just be blaming other people all the time. Oh, he did this, she did that. It's this, it's that, it's that. Stop that. I feel afraid. Why? Find out. For me, it goes really, really deep. It goes from being punched in the chest to the point where I couldn't breathe, right? So I had to sit there and recognize that, cry through it, feel it entirely, so that I can transcend it, okay? So I ask you to take responsibility for your emotions. You have control. You have control. So don't blame anybody else, because then you lose the power that you have. You lose the control that you have when you blame someone else for how you feel. You have to be able to really own it, transcend it, so that you can admit to it, be with it, know it, experience it, and then you can overcome it, and only you. So please, please take responsibility for your feelings. Don't blame anybody else. That way you can get through it. Okay. Number 5, reframe your negative belief. Reframing is huge. Okay. Because your negative beliefs can be really a major source of why you're staying stuck. It's a huge piece as to why we're stuck, why we're burnt out, why we don't feel like we can move forward. And you have to start really reframing what you're believing and focusing on the positive aspects of whatever it is that you're believing, because believe me, there is always a positive aspect to a negative, always. Now you can begin to shift your perspective and manage your emotions if you start to look at it that way, right? So I'll use me as an example, since I already used me as an example in the beginning, right? With the current state that we're in, and kind of a little bit of a limbo, figuring out where we're moving and what we're doing, and career choices and stuff like that, right? My coaching business is growing, like it's all going extremely well, but there's just nervousness that happens. And I had to say, okay, what's the negative belief is I can't do it. The positive of this is I'm going to see. I'm going to try. I'm going to really put my effort in, because I strongly know that Neena Perez doesn't play games. Okay. When I put my mind to stuff, I make it happen, even through the negative belief system. So that's what I do for myself, right? I reframe. I'm like, okay, this is exciting instead of fear. This is new and uncharted instead of scary and unattainable. So I'm always trying to look at things in a different perspective, because if you stay in the negative, that's on you, right? Because the point before was what? Take responsibility for your own emotions, right? I am always going to go back to that, because you are always going to have to be responsible for you. I am responsible for me. You are responsible for you. And if I am dropping knowledge to you right now and you're not caring about it or taking notes or knowing that this can help you, that's also on you, right? All I could do is give you the information and hope that you will really absorb what I'm saying to you and understand that these are things that not only have I proven that work for me to transcend emotional triggers, but the group of women, and I've helped many, many women. I wish I had a number of women that I've helped. I don't, because I was silly enough not to record all of these from many years ago, right? But these are things that really help people. They really, really do. And so if you take them, great. If you don't, also great, right? Number 7, I think, or 6, identify your values. Because when you're clear on what is valuable to you, it's going to become way easier for you to stay really centered. And then you can manage your emotional triggers, because some things are not going to be as important. They're just not. Right? Like for me, I was like, oh no, we gotta, the politics and blah, blah, blah. And it's really not that important to me. It really isn't. I am more interested in people, in their character and who they are and what they're bringing to the world, their value of impacting somebody else's life. If they're not hurting people, things like that. I'm more interested in that than I am interested on which political party you land on, because they're all full of BS as far as I'm concerned. Right? So when you're clear on your values, then you are not going to be emotionally triggered. All right. I value myself, my life, my peace. And so I would never value another domestic violent relationship in my life. That's just not going to happen. So by identifying what you value in your life and then you align yourself and your actions to those values, then you're going to really cultivate that purpose in your life. And that's when you start to transcend all of those emotional triggers and reactions that you have. So get your values in order. What is important to you? I realized that I was putting my my career in front of my family. I thought I was putting my family first by doing my career, but the truth be told, I've waited far too long to put my family first, and I regret that immensely. Right. And so that is one of the things that I've come to in these last few weeks about why I'm being triggered. And I'm being triggered because I have put too much value in something that did not put value in me. That was an eye opener. All right. Number 7. Let me tell y'all. Okay. I have been breathing more deeply than anything in my life. I have been breathing so deeply lately. It's crazy, right? So learn to breathe deeply. Number 7, deep breathing is really powerful. It actually calms your nervous system. This is actually scientific. It does calm your nervous system. There's a system called 555, which is 5 seconds breathing in, 5 seconds breathing out, and then doing it 5 times, repeating it 5 times. And this is a powerful way to calm your emotional triggers and make your nervous system be regulated. Okay. So practice deep breathing, exercise regularly, and help yourself stay grounded. You know, another cool thing is grounding. Go outside, take your shoes off, and just stand on the grass or on the earth. It just, I don't know, it's the energy of the earth. It just feels so good. So learn to breathe. Okay. Because I don't know about you guys, but when I'm going through some really stressful situations, I don't realize I'm not really breathing until I go, and I realized, oh my God, I haven't really taken a deep breath at all. I've been practically holding my breath. Okay. So learn to breathe deeply. 555. Okay. 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. Repeat 5 times. All right. All right. We're almost there. We're almost there. We're almost there. Okay. I want you to develop some really healthy coping mechanisms. So rather than reacting, right? Because girl, I have been reacting. Let me tell y'all, I have been reacting. Girl has been on some reactional reactional levels. Okay. So rather than reacting impulsively like your girl was doing last week, okay, develop some healthy coping mechanisms that's going to allow you to really respond in a more constructive way. Do not let me be an example last week, for real. So make sure that you do the deep breathing, that you do some meditation, do some exercise. And another big piece is journaling. Make sure you write a lot, because that really, really helps you kind of take all of the shenanigans that you got going on in your head and put it down and away from you, right? So make sure that you breathe deep, that you exercise, that you meditate, that you pray, and that you allow these fears to just leave and transcend you, or anger or frustration or whatever that emotional trigger is. Allow it to leave you. Okay. So just make sure that you do that, because I was totally missing that point last time. All right. So I want you to set some boundaries for yourself. Make sure that you are managing this emotional triggers in your life, and learn to say no, because no is a complete sentence. No, period. You don't have to explain anything after that. No is a complete sentence. Okay. So learn when to say no and establish those clear lines around you. Okay. Please, because the boundaries is going to help you tremendously in your life. Practice self-care is another one. So taking care of yourself, making sure that when you feel those things, that you nourish your body, your mind, your soul, put on some good music, make sure you get enough sleep, start eating right for your body, spend time with people that you want to be around, that kind of stuff. Really support yourself. Okay. That's called self-care. And there's so many more, but I'm gonna stop right there because there's so many. But ultimately, becoming aware of all of these triggers that you have in your life and learning how to take responsibility is going to give you the power that you have within you. It's going to show the power that you have within you to choose how you are going to respond to all of these challenging situations in your life. Okay. So develop a greater awareness of yourself, of your situation, of what you're going through, of what's triggering you, please, so that you can live this life fulfilling, that you can have and cultivate greater success in your life. And success, again, is not a 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure job. Success is peace, joy, happiness. Success is as transcending thoughts and negative behaviors that are stopping you from being who you really want to be. All right. I love you guys so, so, so much. I'm going to try to put this in a blog for you. So you can go to straighttalknosugar.com and you can get it there on the blog if you want to get all those show notes. Also, you can look up my new website, NeenaPerez.com, and that's where I talk about, everything I do in my coaching program. You guys are awesome. Freaking love you so much. I'm going to go over here so I can press some buttons because, your girl don't know what she's doing. But thank you guys for being here. This is Neena Perez, Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to grow this baby and help people as much as I can. Until next time.